The 30-day closure of Huddersfield Station and the line from Stalybridge to Leeds allowed the TRU Alliance to undertake one of the biggest single works packages to date on the Transpennine Route Upgrade. The work, which was completed on schedule, has transformed the route, with changes at Huddersfield being the most noticeable. Work has also taken place at Hill House Depot, and Deighton Station has now closed completely until 2027. It's true to say that the changes haven't provided any tangible benefits for passengers. However, the work that took place is a major part of the large-scale rebuilding of the route between Huddersfield and Dewsbury, and it now seems that the TRU programme has moved up a gear, and passengers will start to see some big changes over the next 2 years. Starting in the west in Huddersfield, the station has now been remodelled and has temporarily been reduced in size. This means the station now only has 3 active platforms, while the western side of the station is being rebuilt. Closing half of the station will have a knock-on impact for services, as capacity at the station will be reduced. Most notably, the Huddersfield-Bradford service cannot operate while the upgrade is underway. For this reason, a rail replacement bus service will continue to operate between Huddersfield and Brighouse. I explained in the previous video about the work which took place at the station to ensure it can handle the increased number of passengers during the work. The new layout at Huddersfield means there are only 2 through platforms, which will be used for existing east-west Transpennine Express services. In addition, the Penistone Bay platform has been lengthened and has become Platform 1. This means the service to Sheffield can continue to operate. During the upgrade, a new island platform will be constructed, which will increase the number of through platforms. A new accessible pedestrian overbridge will also be constructed, and the existing underpass will be lengthened to serve the new 2-platform island. The main through platforms will be 200 metres long, which I believe will be able to accommodate the equivalent of a 7-car Class 802, although we don't yet know which vehicles will be chosen to operate what are currently Transpennine Express services. Once the whole route is electrified, it'll be possible to operate purely electric units from Liverpool and Manchester to York, Newcastle and Edinburgh. However, TPE trains will still have to operate on non-electrified lines, so the government may order a mix of new electric and bi-mode units to replace the existing Class 185 DMUs. The temporary downsizing of the station will be frustrating for passengers. However, given the scale of the transformation taking place, it's the only practical way to rebuild a large section of the station. Work is also continuing with the restoration of the existing roof over platforms 1, 2 and 3, with the first signs of what's to come now visible. I believe the new roof sections will have a more modern appearance, but I don't think there's anything wrong with mixing old and new styles as long as it's done well. The closure of the railway also allowed the Alliance to replace 2 bridge spans over John William Street. This involved using an enormous crawler crane to lift the pre-built spans into position. This leaves a 3rd span still to be installed, which will take place at a later date. The new spans will improve the resilience of the structure and will also facilitate the remodelling of the eastern approach, as well as allowing for the lengthening of the platforms to the east. The eastern approach to the station will have to be remodelled so that trains can use the new platforms and new up-down fast lines, as well as providing access to services from the east such as the Bradford service, which will mostly terminate on platform 6, but services from the east will also be able to terminate on platform 5. Platform 5 will be able to act as a through platform as well as a turnback platform. Platforms 2, 3 and 4 will also be through platforms, while platform 6 will only be used as a turnback. Platform 1 will remain as the west-facing bay for services to and from Sheffield via Penistone. Heading east from the station, the tracks will be increased to 4, reinstating the lines lost in the 1960s. Thankfully, Huddersfield Viaduct is still mostly able to accommodate 4 tracks, but the viaduct is being restored and modernised to improve its resilience, meaning it'll stand strong for decades to come. The 4-tracking of the route does mean that Deighton station has had to close for the best part of 2 years. I wasn't initially aware that the station would have to close, however the station needs to be relocated so that the fast lines can be built. A new fully accessible 2-platform station will be constructed, which will be connected to a new pick-up and drop-off area on Whittaker Street via a new pedestrian bridge over the up-down fast lines. While main stations such as Huddersfield will have 200 metre long platforms, the intermediate stations such as Mirfield and Deighton will have platforms capable of accommodating 6-car trains, much like Morley Station, which was one of the first stations to be upgraded as part of the TRU. During the closure of the station, Deighton will be served by an hourly rail replacement bus service between Huddersfield and Brighouse. Whittaker Street has now closed to pedestrians, having previously been closed for vehicle traffic. This is to allow the construction of a new bridge, which will provide clearance for overhead line equipment and the new lines. The road is expected to reopen in July 2026. Considering the fact that the line had 4 tracks up until the 1960s, it's surprising how much of the former trackbed has been lost in the intervening years, which means this isn't simply a case of reinstating tracks, but an effective rebuild of the whole route between Huddersfield and West Town. As well as upgrading stations and track, the TRU Alliance has also built a new train maintenance depot situated between Huddersfield and Deighton. The new Hill House depot will be used by Northern to maintain its fleet of new electric and multi-mode vehicles, which are expected to be delivered in the early 2030s. In the meantime, the depot will be used to clean and for the light maintenance of Northern's current fleet of diesel multiple units. The depot has 5 electrified lines, which will provide capacity for up to 24 carriages, or the equivalent of 8 3-car trains. It's not a particularly large depot, but being able to stable and clean trains near to Huddersfield should improve reliability, as trains and crews won't have to travel so far to commence early morning services. The depot will also be used during the upgrade to stable engineering trains. This will mean the Alliance can stable vehicles close to where they're needed. Heading east from Deighton, work is continuing at Heaton Lodge Junction. It looks like a significant amount of work has taken place since my last visit at the beginning of the year. The bridge, which currently takes the eastbound down line under the Colt Valley line, will have to be replaced to provide clearance for OLE. I was hoping to be able to provide more details, but I wasn't able to get the information in time. However, I will try to provide a more detailed update about the junction soon. The new up-down fast lines will be installed to the south of the junction, and they will bypass the junction completely. The new lines will be used by express services, and I believe they will have a permissible speed of 110 mph as they pass the junction. Such is the scale of the work on this section alone, I will be releasing a second video looking at the section between Heaton Lodge and Dewsbury, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that crucial update. And just before I go, could I ask that if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, could you please give it a like, as it helps my content to get noticed.